Recently, so-called cancel culture has become a topic of passionate and at times angry public debate, and media and films are often caught in the crosshairs. The term refers to a public reaction to a topic, words or behaviour that is deemed unacceptable in today's society, resulting in possible boycotts and a push for accountability. Films are seen by many as an opportunity for free artistic expression and a platform to push boundaries, but is that now being restricted as fear of being cancelled takes hold? At this year's Sundance Film Festival, it was claimed that cancel culture is scaring filmmakers from taking real chances. While some critics say this is a necessary force in holding the powerful to account and pushing the industry to be more inclusive, others say it is stifling artistic freedom. In this video essay, I'll explore the impacts cancel culture has on filmmaking in terms of what kind of stories are told and what risks directors are willing to take or not to take. In 2008, Robert Downey Jr. starred in the spoof war film Tropic Thunder. This film is about a director shooting a war film who attempts to liven up the filming by dropping the main actors into a real jungle and capturing their performance with hidden cameras. The cast is well known, but you may not recognise Robert. Why? Because his character is blacked up. Today, blackface is widely seen as outright unacceptable. While Robert's character was not intending to be racist and was actually meant to be a satire on racial stereotyping, you can't imagine this film being made today, just 13 years later. Studios would likely reject the idea or rewrite the role due to the risk of backlash. However, ironically, Robert Downey Jr. earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and the role revived his career. He is now one of the highest grossing actors in the world. Even at the time, Downey Jr. said he was scared the film would ruin him. With the power of social media and the rise of wokeness, you can imagine the backlash this film would receive in 2025. This begs us to ask the questions: have we started to take cancel culture too far? And are we stopping potentially award-winning films being made due to the fear of offending? Disney recently has faced a lot of backlash in the media for their allegedly woke approach in recreating their iconic films, in particular Snow White. While they have tried to be inclusive by casting Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress, as Snow White, at the same time they appear to have contradicted themselves by making the dwarf CGI. Peter Dinklage, an actor as a form of dwarfism, has spoken up about the controversy surrounding the film. He said, "You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that backward story of 7 dwarves living in a cave." While Dinklage is praising Disney for casting a Latina actress, he condemned them for still presenting what he thinks are outdated stereotypes. Thanks to the controversy stoked online that started long before the film premiered, Snow White is tanking at the box office. In order to break even, it needed to gross at least $427.8 million, and in March it grossed $100.2 million. While Disney is trying its hardest to be inclusive by reimagining classic stories for the modern age and casting actors appropriately, their film flopped at the box office while Tropic Thunder, an objectively controversial film, generated a £100 million profit. Race and how race is depicted in film is not the only topic that is heavily scrutinised under the influence of cancel culture. How disabilities are presented in films and who is cast is also a thoroughly debated topic. The Theory of Everything, starring Eddie Redmayne, released in 2014, is a subject of ongoing ethical and artistic debate, particularly concerning the representation of disability in film. This film follows the life of Stephen Hawking, a scientist who suffered from ALS, a debilitating condition which ends up restricting speech and movement. Critics praised Eddie, a fully able person, for the accuracy of his performance, which involved an in-depth research of ALS and talking to those who live with the condition. The film depicts the progression of ALS, which complicates the practicalities of casting a disabled actor to portray the character throughout his life. However, it can be argued that casting a non-disabled actor to play a disabled character can perpetuate stereotypes and take away from the opportunity for disabled actors to play that role. While casting a well-known actor brought around awareness of the long-time condition, would it not have made the film more authentic to have cast someone who genuinely suffered from ALS? This leads me on nicely to What's Eating Gilbert Grape, 1993. At the time of its release, the film was not considered to be controversial, but is a prime example of highlighting important ethical issues. Leonardo DiCaprio plays Arnie Grape, a teenage boy with an unspecified intellectual disability. At 19, DiCaprio was nominated for an Academy Award for this role, and the film was praised for its performance and emotional depth, but disability advocates say this role should have been played by an actor who lives with such disability. However, this solution poses just as many problems as the condition was never named, and filmmakers would be stereotyping disabilities if they cast someone with such disability as Arnie Gray. Many filmmakers will avoid controversial topics in order to not ruin their reputation and do well in the box office, while others continue to take risks like Jordan Peele with Get Out, 2017. The film has Daniel as the main character who falls in love with a white girl whose family run an auction on black people. The film addresses racism in a deeply unsettling way. Get Out was critically acclaimed and commercially successful, thus proving that controversial themes can be embraced when executed with thoughtfulness. Big-name films like Rain Man featuring Dustin Hoffman, Philadelphia starring Tom Hanks, and Tropic Thunder with Robert Downey Jr. have all been brought up recently in conversation due to their racial depictions or casting. Dustin Hoffman plays an autistic character as a non-autist. This raises concerns about the lack of opportunities for autistic actors. This is the same for Tom Hanks' character Andrew Beckett in Philadelphia, where he plays a gay character suffering with AIDS. Hanks earned an Academy Award for Best Actor and helped humanise the AIDS epidemic, but again, would the film not be more authentic if it was played by someone part of the LGBTQ+ community? These actors are the three of the biggest names in Hollywood, but this may not have been the case if social media had any part to play in the success of these films. With this information, I feel it is obvious that filmmakers shouldn't be scared to take risks in their storytelling and casting as long as they approach the topics with sympathy and carry out in-depth research to avoid offence. Although, to ensure continuing inclusivity and authenticity, studios should consider casting actors who have lived through the experience the film is portraying. This avoids the risks of potential backlash and means filmmakers can approach more sensitive topics easily as they are making an effort to be more inclusive.